if I had to say one thing in the agency space above everything that's overlooked the most, but is actually the most important, it would have to be inbound. Okay? And what that means is getting content by people coming from you by posting content. Okay? But before you start inbound, it's really important that you start it properly. Okay? And so what I'm about to show you is a video inside the program, Olympus, that is basically going to go over the core key tenets that you need to know before you actually start inbound. Yeah. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Matt, I built an agency, and now I'm building coaching business, basically teaching people what I did with the agency and still do with the coaching business. And really the whole goal, what we help people do, is help them hit 10K per month. Okay? So not going to waste any of your time. Let's get straight into the inbound tenets video.
Hello everyone, Matthew Johnson here, and welcome to Inbound Tenets. Now, this video is going to be a really important one, as it basically says in the name. We're going to be going over the tenets when it comes to inbound, right? So all inbound is getting clients from people coming to you, yeah? And the main way we're going to be doing that is through posting content, okay? So these tenets are going to be things to do mostly with your content and how you post it, and they're really like a rule set for you to follow in order for you to grow properly, yeah? So here's what I want to cover. First of all, UOV, what that means, and then exponential growth, and then we're going to be talking about how inbound is basically the long-term play, and then we're going to be talking about the two conversion processes. So there's basically two ways that you can get clients through inbound. Then we're going to go for imperfection and why it's actually a good thing. Then we're going to dismantle your fear of judgment, which is actually just you kind of projecting being judgy. And then we're going to go over a really nice principle called 1000 True Fans. And it's going to basically shift your entire paradigm and give you a whole new way to look at posting content. And then we're going to go into some cult leader tactics of us versus them. Okay? So let's get into it. Welcome to Inbound Tenets. This module will show you the base level, first principle tenets you have to understand and abide by to be successful with inbound. Okay? And a disclaimer, going through the PDF will not cut it. There is valuable information that is only in the videos. So obviously, if you're listening to this, then you have nothing to worry about. So first things first is UAV. So the first key to understanding inbound is UAV, which stands for units of value. Yeah? So the goal with inbound is to keep adding rocks onto the scale. As you can see, we have a scale for value, and what we're doing with inbound is we're just adding rocks to the scale of value. Okay? These rocks represent value. Some rocks may be heavier than others. For example, if you post a 2-hour full guide, the rock will be very large, like this one. Right? But if you post a short, it'll be smaller, like this one. Okay? Every time you create value by creating good content, you put rock on the scale. Or you put a rock on the scale. Okay? And every time you eliminate value by not posting, or even posting just terrible content, you start to take away rocks from the scale. Yeah. So this is obviously an arbitrary example, but it illustrates the point, right? The whole goal with your inbound content is just to put as many rocks on the scale as possible, because eventually, you're going to keep on adding heavy rocks and heavy rocks and heavy rocks, and then the market will look at it and say, okay, this is the weight of the scale that represents this amount of money per month. So this is what you can this is what you can get because of the value that you've provided. Okay? Next thing is exponential growth. So your first video will give your channel a UAV of 0.000000001. Okay? And every single new video, multiply this by 2x. Now once again, this is arbitrary because some videos are going to give more and some videos are going to give less, right? But let's just say for your YouTube long form videos, this is how it's going to work, right? So video 1, you have this, video 2, video 3, you get 4, video 4, 8, and as you can see, there's kind of exponential growth up until video 31, where you cross the barrier and your channel has a UAV of 1. And then when you add a UAV of 1 plus is when results start flowing properly. Okay? So this put on a graph, this equation put on a graph will look something like this, right? This is like the equation of this exponential curve. Okay? So your value compound rate will depend on the quality of your videos, your competition, the algorithm, and the natural cap size of your market. Obviously, if there's 2,000 people in your niche, then that's where you're going to be capped. But if there's 100,000 people in your niche, then that's where you're going to be capped, right? So it's going to be very person to person. But as a general rule, this is how it looks, okay? And if you miss an upload, your channel UAV goes down to what it was for the video before the last video, right? So let's say you upload video 1, you upload video 2, and then you miss video 3. Your channel UAV goes back down to video 1, right? Let's say you're on video 24, you upload this, you upload this, you miss video 26, you're back down to the UAV of this number. Okay? Very important. Next thing is the long-term play. So as made pretty apparent above, because you can see it does take a lot of videos to get to 1+. So as was made pretty apparent above, if you want to reap the biggest rewards from inbound, you need to stick to it, right? It's an exponential play. So going from here to here means nothing. But going from here to here is like, it's the same time horizon, but because it's been a longer time, you're gonna get much more rewards. Okay? So make this agreement right now. I'm committed to posting for at least 2 years. If you aren't gonna be committed to posting for 2 years, don't even start. Like if you don't do this, you fuck yourself over completely. Okay? Commit right now. Like say to yourself, I'm committed to posting for at least 2 years. Right? Because look, as you now know, this is an exponential game, right? And people are gonna get different results at different times. So some people might crack the code and get really lucky, and the second video gets 100,000 views, right? But for some other people, it'll actually look like this. It'll take a long time, and then eventually it does start growing exponentially. Okay? And you might not book 100 appointments per month, a few months in from inbound, and you probably won't, right? And that is fine. Inbound is the long-term play, right? Inbound is what's going to be booking you meetings in the hundreds or thousands per month years from now, right? We're thinking long-term here, right? With inbound, it's not about booking 100 meetings per month 2 months from now, right? You can if you want to do that's what code outbound and then eventually paid ads is going to be for, right? They're linear, they scale quickly. But inbound is what's going to be booking you hundreds or thousands of appointments per month years from now, right? Don't worry about how your, for example, Instagram is going to look a month from now, or your LinkedIn is going to look from a month from now. Worry about how it's going to look 5-10 years from now. Okay? So next thing, the 2 conversion processes. So with inbound, there are basically 2 ways you can actually set appointments, right? Because if we're just posting content, how do we actually set appointments, right? There's 2 ways. Okay? Number 1 is a simple calendar link. So this is just very simple. We have a VSL or a link tree in our bio, which leads to a calendar page where someone can book a call, right? So like in our YouTube description, we'll have a link to our funnel, which we'll make in the next video, or we'll have like the link tree, which will be in our bio, and then the top one in there is the funnel where they can book a call, right? So that's not like we just make the content, and maybe we give a CTA to click the VSL in the description, for example, on like a YouTube video, right? And then the person who's watching, they go in, they schedule it themselves, right? And then the second thing we can do is inbound DMs, where we're using our content to get warm leads to reach out to and book calls through warm inbound DMs, right? So inbound DMs means someone comes to you, so they like a post, they follow you, they comment. Maybe if you're giving away a freebie and you're saying something like, comment offer, and I'll send you this document on how to make really good offers. And then they comment offer. So then you DM them the offer, and then you go into like a DM system, which will have videos on it in the future. Okay. Next thing is imperfection. So this is really important. You need to understand your first videos will probably suck. Okay. There's a good chance that you will hate your first video 6 months after posting it. That's completely okay. Perfection will come from imperfection, right? All being a perfectionist is a lack of discipline. That's all it is. Don't be a stupid perfectionist. That takes 3 months to upload a first video / post. All that shows is a lack of discipline and a giving in to resistance. Okay? So in the time frames that I tell you to, make the videos. It's going to be completely okay if they suck. You just need to get the videos out in the beginning. Okay? And so this is really interesting, not just for your videos, but interesting for you as well. Okay? So if you're doing everything right and you're constantly evolving, this isn't just with inbound, but this is just about you in general. If you're doing the right things and your beliefs are changing, your paradigm is shifting, you're constantly evolving, and you're improving, you're going to think back to yourself 6 months ago, and you're going to think, that guy's fucking stupid, right? And then 6 months later, so a year from now, you're going to think about you 6 months in the future, and you're going to think, that guy's fucking stupid, right? And so every 6 months, you're going to look back on you 6 months ago, and think, that dude is so fucking stupid, he made so many bad decisions, there's so many things that he did wrong. That is the best sign, okay? If you look back at yourself 3 or 6 months ago, and you think, yeah, I'm basically the same person, you're fucking up. If you're not changing, then how can you expect anything else to change? Okay? And so that process is probably going to be the exact same with inbound, right? Every 6 months, you're gonna look back on a video you made 6 months ago, and you're like, oh fuck, that sucked. I could have said this way. My storytelling was really bad. I didn't use this principle. The editing sucked, right? You're gonna be constantly looking back, and that's really good. That's how you know that you're improving. Because if you look back at a video from 6 months ago and there's no difference, then you haven't been improving. Okay? Next thing is the fear of judgment. So the biggest struggle I personally know I had, that some of you may face, is the fear of judgment, right? When I started posting business content, I was still in school. Right? Obviously, I'm not in school anymore, but when I started posting, I was still in school. And I was terrified of people in my school finding my content and judging me, right? There is one thing that can make you fear judgment 100 times more, 100 times less. If you're struggling with the fear of judgment or being judged, this is what you need, right? I'm going to show you right now how to immediately overcome the fear of judgment, okay? This is what it looks like. It's a mirror, okay? This is what you need. If you want to overcome the fear of judgment, you need this, okay? As a human, you are a mirror. What you believe internally, you will project externally. The perfect example, right? If you judge other people and call them cringe when they post content, or if you would do that, you're going to be deathly terrified to post content, and you'll fear what others say of you, yeah? So projection all comes down to you judging others. So this is what projection looks like. I'm going to give you 3 examples. And this first one is really what made me scared of doing it. So I used to be terrified of people from my school finding my content. Because in year 7, we found a kid's channel who wanted to be a vlogger, and ultimately he got bullied to the point where he deleted the channel, right? In year 7, there was this guy who was like a regular guy at school, and we found his vlog channel, right? And as you do in year 7, me and like these other kids just fucking rinsed him for it, right? He got like really sad. He didn't show up to school for like 2 or 3 days, and he deleted the whole channel, right? That, like, at the time, that didn't really matter, right? He was just like a stupid kid who made a YouTube channel, so he made fun of him for it. But that kind of action and that belief and that kind of what I would do if someone else started like posting haunted me, because when I wanted to start, I was so terrified of people from my school and people around me finding my channel, right? So like when I just started, I literally did everything possible for them to not find me. I made new Instagram accounts, blocked everybody, like thousands of people that I knew, literally thousands, across like LinkedIn, Instagram, and other platforms. Like I would do so much because I was so terrified of it, right? So how you do things is how you're going to expect other people to do them as well. If you're a dickhead to people who post content, then you're going to be scared that people are going to be a dickhead to you when you post content, right? So another one, before I started cold calling, there was a period of 3 to 6 months where I was just purely against it, right? I would do anything to get away from it. This is because over the years, when I was younger, I had seen salespeople cold call my dad, right? And my dad's not like a business owner; he's just a regular guy, right? And he had said they're just telemarketing scammers. Like someone would call the home phone, and he would pick up, and he'd be like, "No, not interested." And I would say like, "Oh, who was that?" And he was like, "Oh, just don't worry, it was just like a telemarketing scammer," right? This belief made me horrified to cold call because I thought I'd get labeled as one of the telemarketing scammers, and I thought cold calling was being a telemarketing scammer, right? And the only reason I kind of had that was because of my belief around it. I saw cold calls as telemarketing scammers. So if I was to start cold calling, I would be scared that other people would call me that, and I'd be scared of that judgment. Yeah? And then for a long time, I thought paid ads didn't actually work. This is because I'd watched a lot of Tyler Lopez, Sam Ovens, and other gurus paid ads, and initially thought they're all stupid scammers, especially with Tyler Lopez here in my garage clips. So what I'm going to show you is basically what my childhood was like, the reason that I thought paid ads didn't work, right? And it was a Vanos clip. So if any of you know Vanos, I'll give you some major respect here in my garage, right? Like this was 8 years ago when I was like 10 or some shit. If we watch this, like this video is just basically him kind of like mocking the Tyler Lopez ad, because the Tyler Lopez ad was like super viral at that time, right? And so this made me think that, okay, Tyler Lopez and people like him are scammers, and paid ads and doing things like this is for scammers, right? And so because of that, I thought paid ads wouldn't work. So if you judge other people for posting content, of course you'll be scared of judgment, right? The way to overcome this is to not be judgmental. All right. So the way to not be judgmental is to change the scales of your beliefs around it. So have a self-centeredness worksheet, affirmation on judgment, and like live it as well. So having the self-centeredness worksheet is great, but also if you see someone posting content, empower them for it. Say it's a great thing, right? Don't be judged. Okay. Very, very important stuff. And this is definitely, this mirror is what holds a lot of people back, and not just with ads, but also with something like cold calling, and also with something like paid ads. Right. Next thing is 1,000 True Fans. So there is an amazing mental model called 1,000 True Fans that blew up when it was made, right? It went like super viral, and it accurately depicts exactly what we're trying to do. So before you keep going, read this. Open this up and pause the video and spend a few minutes. It literally takes you 5 or 10 minutes, right? So pause the video and read all of this. This is so important because it maybe it's not important if you're just a TikToker and you're not really trying to like sell a product. You're just trying to get more followers. That makes sense. But with what we're doing, this is perfect for us, right? These 1,000 True Fans are going to be absolutely instrumental. Yeah. So I could tell you exactly how it works, but like it's written out here for you. I'm not gonna like take credit for it or anything. So like pause the video right now and go read this article on 1,000 True Fans. Yeah. So if you're listening to this right now, you should have gone and done it. If you haven't, go and do it right now because it's like such an important mindset. Yeah. So when we are making any of our content, we want to be optimizing for those 1,000 True Fans. Yeah. Last thing is us versus them. And so this is kind of like a cult leader tactic. So us versus them is how you can start to cultivate an extremely loyal fan base. Us versus them, or in versus out group mentality, which is the same thing, is a psychological phenomenon where we have groups we think we are part of and groups we think are outside of us / against us, right? So it is us in our tribe versus them over there in the other tribe, right? So make it feel to a viewer that's you plus them versus the enemy. It's us that meditates versus them who doom scroll, right? So us people, me and you, we meditate, and because of that, we're super mindful, and we have the mindfulness to be able to make decisions. But those other people, and like when I'm saying this, I'm like pointing away. Those other people doom scroll for 10 hours a day. We are nothing like them, right? Those other people, they suck, they're stupid, they doom scroll. We are meditating, like saying things like that, right? So the first question that needs to be asked is, do you have an enemy? Who is them? Right? Obviously, you know who us is, but who is them? The more specific and clearly you can answer this question, the better. Okay? And then you want to clearly define what in-group is, aka who are my people. Clearly define who out-group is, aka who are my people against. So maybe you help roofers, right? But kind of a thing that you're really interested in for roofers is self-improvement and like being healthy, right? So you can say us, we take our health seriously because we know how much it can impact our business. Those other stupid people, they're doing everything wrong, right? They're very unhealthy, so they're gonna have a worse quality of life and they're gonna have a worse business. But us, we are gonna do much better, right? So for me, for example, in group is people who want to become financially free, people who are incredibly driven and want to do massive things with their life, starting with entrepreneurship. Right? That's my in group. And my out group is people who want to go down the regular path, school, uni, like going to school, going to university, and getting 9 to 5, right? So you may see this in some of my posts or videos. So this is me, like this is a quote from me using in-group, out-group. They don't want to see you improve. We're here getting better results, and those other people are trying to drag us down and stop us from making our dreams come true, right? Having this in-group and out-group and using it is going to make your fan base and people who watch you be much more loyal to you, and it's almost like a cult-like following, right? Which is exactly what you want, right? 1,000 True Fans is basically the same as 1,000 cult members, right? But it's obviously a lot different than a regular cult, but you still want to use like the same kind of cult leader tactics because the reason they're cult leader tactics is because they work very well, right? So these two, especially 1,000 True Fans and us versus them, is two really important things you want to start to implement in all of your content. Yeah. Quick summary: the units of value. The whole goal with your content is to be stacking units of value, putting rocks on the units of value scale. Then exponential growth. We understand now how units of value work, and that your channel is an exponential play. And the next thing, long-term play, we like commit right now to spending at least 2 years on your inbound, the two conversion processes. So either we have like a VSL in our link tree or in a bio or whatever, and they click that and they watch it, they book it themselves, or we do inbound DMs, right? And we'll show you how to do both, obviously. Then imperfection, why it's a good thing. And the fear of judgment, how it's the mirror and how to overcome it. Then 1,000 true fans and us versus them, in group, out group. Okay? There's some very, very important stuff and some very interesting tactics that you can start to use for your inbound. Okay? So next video, we're going to be showing you exactly how to make your funnel. Okay? So I'll see you there. Bye bye.